Hey, what's up there? Let me talk to you. Funny, I just got done with the video not too long ago. And right after that, I get check up on my notifications, social media, what's going on in the real world, and I look up and I read that the heart and soul of Marvel, Stan Lee, has passed away finally at 95 years old. And I don't mean that in a negative way when I say the keyword finally, because, everybody was expecting to have that happen. And you see his condition, how he looked. It was, like I said before, it was going to happen. But let's not look at the negative light about things about his career or any of that stuff like nowadays. Let's talk about like positive light, his past and how much he did for every single piece of art that he threw at us and made us watch, made us read, made us play. Like for example, Marvel Spider-Man, it was so good. He can't get away from being in the damn spotlight. It's in a good way too, like playing through it, and you were bound to see him in such like good cameos, and especially speaking of cameos, as I was talking about, there's a certain movie, Clerks 2 or Clerks 3. He was a part of it. He looked pretty 20 years younger, you know what I'm saying? There was a part of it where the main protagonist is like in the mall and try to get up to her girl and stuff, and Stanley is just right there, and he meets up with Stanley, and Stanley explains to himself about how he made superheroes, and the way he describes it is very cool because what he said about it is like superheroes. He didn't make them because he wanted to make superheroes and all that sort of stuff. He made the idea of superheroes and all that sort of stuff was because of his life, because of his past life, because of his emotions, because of his moods and all that sort of stuff. That's why people like Thor, Spider-Man, you see the character traits between those guys and the supervillains. That's Stan Lee. Every bit of superhero that that's Stan Lee, what he made. And I think that's a pretty cool concept of what he talked about. And he influenced a lot of people in this day and age and in the past. And, it was pretty cool. At such a young age of mine, as a child, outside of professional wrestling, my other hobby was also superheroes, and mostly it was Marvel. I don't want to make this sound like a gender cliche because like males are mostly into superheroes like Marvel, and females were like into not all of them, but like you know what I mean. And I liked how Marvel and DC had such a brand warfare, such dream movies that everybody would be talking about. Like for example, oh, I bet Hulk could beat Spider-Man. I bet not Spider-Man, Superman. Oh, I believe that Batman could get his ass whooped by Iron Man. Cool shit like that. And I think that's awesome. You know, um, uh, and he was so creative in such a God gifted way. I believe that God really gave him such a great gift to, to help everybody. To, and he was so inspirational, so damn influenced, a lot of people. If it wasn't for him existing to this world, there wouldn't be no cosplayers of such unique characters like these superheroes and supervillains. There wouldn't be no fan films. There wouldn't be no cosplayers up in New York or San Diego Comic Con. And you gotta appreciate what he has done for millions of people around the world. And I think he's the greatest human being to ever step foot on mankind. And I gotta say this in the most nicest way I could possibly say. But as a child of mine, it was always cool to go like you're in the mood for Marvel, and you pick up a controller on PlayStation 2 and you're playing Spider-Man games like Spider-Man 1 through 3, the movie, the game, and you're or Spider-Man, friend or foe. Mostly games Marvel is Spider-Man. Spider-Man is the most made game out of all the consoles. Period. You got your Lego Marvel superheroes, but the main dude who they be talking about and is Spider-Man. And I think looking back at what Stan Lee has been, you know, Spider-Man is a cool ass dude. He might be nerdy, he might be geeky, but you know, he resembles all of us. He resembles, like I said, Stan Lee as well. But going back at this, you know, everybody's childhood is being ripped away by hearing about all this stuff. You look back at this, life is meaningless, but you gotta make life and, you know, and make it as great as possible. And whatever career you make, whatever life you make, because you only live once, you know, and it's really gonna bite you in the ass one of these days. You know, no one knows when we're all gonna die, and we all expected him to die. Like, yeah. If you look at this, a way I see this, you know, watching Avengers: Infinity War, I felt like God was Thanos and Stan Lee was half of the Marvel universe looking at this, and you know, as such a fitting comparison I see. But yeah, Stan Lee is, like I said, one of the greatest humans that I ever could say. I'm sorry if I can't really say much, as I've said in this video. It's like trying to get as much as I could say about this stuff, you know, and no one will ever be as good as Stan Lee. You know, taken away from Stan Lee out of Marvel is like taking Vince McMahon out of WWE. You know, nobody could beat the classic, and nobody could replace what they brought to the table and made us watch every single time. Whether we pick up a DVD or pick up a video game or read a comic in a comic book store, you know, we're always going to get our money's worth. And, you know, it's such a great deal that it's somebody like Stan Lee to even, you know, bring such a great positive life into this. And I would have to say, thank you so much, Stan Lee, for everything that you have done. Stan Lee, you know, you're the best. You ruled. You know, there was nobody's going to be a better superhero creator than you are. Not even DC could get up into your level, but, you know, DC is not all bad. DC is just as decent, but Marvel's the ticket, dude. If somebody asks you, hey, would you rather go to a Marvel game? Would you rather go to a Marvel show, or would you rather go see a DC movie? I'd be like, dude, I want to go see a Marvel movie. You know what I'm saying? But all jokes aside, though, they're all both great. But Marvel, I'd say is better, though. I'm on both sides, but I prefer Marvel. Sorry, DC guys. Sorry. But anyways, that's all I've got to say about this video. Sorry if this is getting as long as possible. I just needed to address the situation between the whole Stan Lee passing away thing. It was so great to have him be on board and with him, and but you know, all kings are bound to be dethroned sooner or later. So, with that being said, I would like to thank you all for watching. Thank you for having the time to talk with me about this. And what do you guys think of it? Let me know in the comment section below. What do you guys thinking about this whole situation on Stan Lee's death? And I'll see you guys when I see you guys. And yeah. Deuces. Or I should, Stan Lee says, Excelsior!